Some of our viewers never ask us why we go to such extremes for our travels, and especially at this time of the year where it's getting toward the end of winter in the U.S. and people are still going to the Caribbean and so forth and going to warm places. Why do we go to the polar extremes as we are right now? Well, the point is it's because it's there. We'll try to show you what it's like here and whether you indeed should come here yourself. You know, if you're looking for extreme adventure, not life-threatening, just wear proper clothing. We are in the polar north in northern Norway. It's about 19 degrees Fahrenheit. We're in a blizzard here in Hammerfest. We had some pretty rocky seas last night in the Barents Sea, and there were seasick bags all over the place. And hopefully they were used. They must have been, because the plumbing system was a little bit clogged up this morning. But everything's under control. We've got winds at about 30 miles an hour. Well, it's another incredibly cold, snowy, windy morning here in northern Norway. We are in Hammerfest. Anyway, we're going to see if we can figure out where we're going. We are docked just across from the town of Hammerfest, which is right over there across the water. And they're here to enjoy the pleasures of Hammerfest for about an hour and a half. So Sunday in Hammerfest, Tanya and I are walking down one of the main streets. Not a lot going on a Sunday.
And it's so dark. It's so dark.
Tanya's pointing out darkness.
More snow.
More snow. While Tanya was in getting her skis from the ship, I was explaining to our viewers, Tanya, about why someone would come here at this time of year instead of going to the Caribbean or some other warmer climes. I'm really not sure what my explanation was, but what would you say would be the reason someone would want to come here?
Well, our friend was coming here, our Australian friend Moo, and so we thought, well, let's see Moo and hang out with her.
Okay,
in
so
Norway.
I got it. Okay, so if friends were going to, I don't know, Afghanistan in the middle of summer, you'd join them as well. I think that was a great idea. No.
Silly.
No, we're silly. We're not crazy much. Well, and just as Tanya was mentioning, the reason that we came to these Arctic climbs, it's because of our friend Moo and her faithful companion Yim. Wait a minute, let me see if I can get the camera to... Oh no,
Did it freeze?
our gimbal is frozen, I think.
It's frozen.
So,
Go pro.
yeah, well, I better go pro. Okay. Well, you can see in the foreground here the huge black cloud of snow and ice and impending doom that's about to befall Hammerfest. As I was pointing out in our last video, the adventures that we're having, that we're talking about here today, are from our up the coast of Norway trip on the Hurtigruten Coastal Express, the MS Nordkapp. Anyway, this ship stops at 32 different ports on the way up to the North Cape, up to the furthest northern point of Kirkenes by the Russian border, and then all the way back down to Bergen where it starts. And the whole trip takes about 11, 12 days. So in this video, we're talking about some of the ports that we stopped at and what an amazing trip this was. So enjoy us or indulge us or put up with us and see what you can expect if you take this epic voyage. One of the most interesting parts of our trip to Kirkenes, Norway, which was a quick trip up to the Russian border. And this is really interesting. In October of 2015, actually sort of that late summer, August to October, and then a few months beyond that, in 2015, this border crossing was very popular with Syrian refugees. As you notice, there's a little sign there that says no pedestrians. Well, what happened was the refugees, they could make it through Russia, and then they would cross the border into Norway. What happened was if they could get up to close to the border, they would be in the Russian town on the Russian side called Nikel. And then what would happen is they were forced to buy bicycles because you couldn't go on foot. The intent of the law was to be in cars, but a bicycle counted as a vehicle. So they'd have to buy bicycles. They put the bicycles in these vans or drive them up to the border. Then the people would get on the bicycles, ride their bicycle across the border. And then when they get to the Norwegian side, they just dump the bikes. So in that photo there, it shows all these bikes that are there, and the Norwegians had to figure out what to do with them. And then they were able to walk on their way into Kirkenes and figure out where they go from there. Now, as you can see, this is in the very snowy weather when we were there, so that would be virtually impossible, or at least very difficult to do that at that time. But it's kind of an interesting slice of history. Another fascinating place you might visit if you're on this Hurtigruten trip is the town of Vardø. We were only there for about half hour or so. It was brutally cold. Vardø has about 2,200 people. It is known as the easternmost town in Norway and is the oldest fishing village in Norwegian Lapland. And in medieval times, it was a center for medieval witch hunts. In the winter of 1662-1663, 30 women were put on trial accused of sorcery and making a pact with the devil. And of course, their punishment was to be put in this flaming chair. Now, wouldn't that be fun? Here we are in Hurtigruten, Tanya. We're just about up here at the top of the world.
Yeah, we could be in the Caribbean, you know.
Yeah, but no, we decided to go as far north as possible.
And we have more.
And yet we are still 1,100 miles from the North Pole. Can you believe that? So we have quite a ways to go. So we're going to explore Hurtigruten. It is 22 degrees Fahrenheit right now. We have a layer of ice, and Tanya has her gripping shoes. Take a look at those. Yeah, Tanya, you're ready for anything. Perfect. Okay, here we go. And here's a Hurtigruten that we happen to find here on the street.
I am a typical
Hurtigruten. Really? And how do you like living here?
Good.
Really? Good. Yeah. Have you been here all your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go to school over here as a little girl?
Over there.
Over there, and there's a playground. Is that where you played?
Yes.
Really? So what have you made of yourself since you've never left this place?
I'm a Hurtigruten.
Yes, I know that. I got that. But
it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Hurtigruten.
We were just informed by our local Hurtigruten here that this is just in front of us is the most northern library in the world. And we're just going to go over here. It looks like a lot of the books have been already taken out, but there's a James Bond book in there. There's some other great ones. Tom Christensen, who's been one of the most famous Norwegian writers. Our friend tells us that she had some books from this library, but unfortunately they were overdue, and then her account's been frozen, like everything else around here. All right, so we're going to head on back. One of the places you can't miss on your Norwegian Coastal Express trip is the town of Tromsø. Tromsø has about 78,000 people. It's on an island, and it really is an amazing place. It's become famous in recent years for a great place to watch the Northern Lights. One of the famous things here is that it has northernmost McDonald's in the world, as you can see, and of course Burger King is right across the street. Probably, I would imagine, also the northernmost Burger King. Tromsø was the home of the famous Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen. who lived the later years of his life in Tromsø. He was the first to reach the South Pole, was a noted Arctic and Antarctic explorer, and is one of Norway's most famous people. We were able to stop in Trondheim on our trip, and this was especially important for Jay because on his first trip to Norway, when he was 12 years old in 1960, he stayed with his mother at the Britannia Hotel, and we went in the hotel, and I told them that, the concierge, they were so nice. Took me in and showed me the dining room, which I remembered exactly as it was, where I was with my mom, and it was just a great time.
Well, I'm at the very first stop on our 11-day trip up the coast of Norway. We're in Floro. It's 2:45 in the morning, and we are so lucky that our stateroom is very close to the gangway. So I'm here. It's our first stop in Norway, and we're here at the port. I was the only guy getting off the ship. We're only here for a 15-minute stop, but here we are. The ship has room for 22 vehicles, and there's only one car that got on just now.
You get to see the city?
I did.
Yeah.
Not much going on this morning.
No, not much going on.
We're in Bodo, which is a European cultural capital for 2024. Well, we're in Ålesund.
And it's cold.
For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Stars getting closer every dawn. Ooh, we are dreamers of the shore. Boat and we all know where we belong. Just wait. Ooh, wait for our home.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for.